minutes on the camera on your dad.
Firstly, we're really delighted to receive the invitation here today from the committee, and a special thanks to Ivan Cooper, who's for so many years given Gay great credit relating to the film on that day.
Absolutely. And could you tell me, have you any memories of your dad's stories?
I was only really a schoolboy heading out to school that morning.
Obviously, because you're a young-looking man.
I asked him where he was heading, and he was explaining he was going to Derry to cover a civil rights march. And I associated civil rights with more with the United States than with Northern Ireland. And we were astonished, really. The news filtered through later that day how things had developed in the north. Of course, my father spent a lot of time here ever since.
Obviously, I've heard about him all the time.
25 years of it.
Absolutely. Have you any little stories you may have talked about, or?
Well, he did mention after the disturbances in Duke Street that when the sound man and the reporter, they all gathered themselves, they decided they better get out of Derry quickly back to the studio in Dublin. And they hid the cans of the film footage up the side of the boot of their camera car, and they put 2 film cans in the front seat marked Derry, Duke Street, October '68, and headed straight for Dublin, where there was great excitement in the newsroom, obviously. And there was nail-biting times while the film went through process, and everything turned out very well. Gay got some fine film footage, and I'd say he's been really over the years amazed himself the reaction around the world. It was just the camera showing the power of the camera never lies, and opening a window on serious problems, underlying problems in Northern Ireland.
Absolutely. Could you introduce your sister?
Sure.
Well, give her a little shout down.
Would you like to say a few words?
Tricia, this is for the archives. For the archives, we've just had your brother giving us a couple of little stories there.
Yes.
It's actually a pleasure. I've heard of your father all my life as a young fella for what he has done for our city.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have any little memories or anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I would say Daddy actually was passionate about Northern Ireland. He really, he just loved Northern Ireland. He was passionate about the people here, and he was very much behind your cause. He lived, slept and ate Northern Ireland, and he came home from working here with stories of his time here and the activities and how his day went, and we used to listen to him so intently.
But television really only arrived in the house when Gay joined RTE, and we'd get calls from all over the world. He rang from Washington when he was out for Kennedy's election campaign and his funeral, and he'd ring the house to see, what was the footage like? Can you describe what you saw from Arlington Cemetery? And what was the lighting like? How was the sound? Yeah. So we were constantly getting phone calls there at the airport.
That was actually very upsetting, because Daddy was arrested in the Congo. That's right. They mistook him for a Belgian because he had blonde hair. I know. And he was actually imprisoned in the Belgian Congo.
Yeah. They wanted him to open his dark room where he had all of the film processing stuff, and he obviously couldn't open these cans of film. But he's certainly used to being in troubled situations. And the Congo certainly was one of the first assignments that was very dangerous at the time.
Well, I'll tell you, he's very lucky to even have made it out of Northern Ireland with that footage.
I know, that's right. Did I tell you the story about that footage? How he did? Okay, no, he really went to the ends of the earth to make things happen.
But I'll tell you, you're in the company of Ivan Cooper today and everything. A lot of our icons here.
Well, Ivan, for so many occasions over the years, we've heard Ivan recount Dad's experience in Northern Ireland. And when you lose somebody, a member of the family, it is very tragic. But it was very heartwarming to have Ivan mention him in so many radio programmes and so many years given such credit for the footage, which in your business, as you know, was a scoop. He was a fortunate man to be there in the middle of it, and to get that piece of footage.
Absolutely.
He even himself never realised the significance at the time. He would have reckoned it was just another assignment, and nobody would have really imagined how
Tricia. What's your name?
Tim. Councillor Appleton. Mention the phone.
Just turn around and half an hour.